Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 5 of Gaming Culture. Pretty cool. We made it this far. We're still going strong. Feel really good about what we're doing. But let me go ahead and start off a little bit differently than usual. You'll notice to my left is not my usual partner in crime. Amon, actually, unfortunately today, Amon Green, we had to make some last-minute changes. Had a family tragedy between last night and today that he had to see to. So he's not able to make it today. We had to make some adjustments. We still got a full show. We're excited about the show. But on behalf of my wife and I, on behalf of the Gaming Culture crew and Local 5, as a whole family, we want to wish our prayers, thoughts and prayers over to Amon Green and his family and his wife Marie as they go through this difficult time. That all being said, the show must go on, so here we go. Pretty excited about today's show. We have a lot on tap for today. So starting off from the beginning, talk a little bit about last week. We had Sleep Tight with our man Keo. He's our special guest. It was a great show. We loved it. We had a really good time with him. And actually, for people who are new to the show, you can go over to wearegreenbay.com/gamingculture and watch that full episode. All 4 episodes that we've ever done are there. You'll see Amon sitting next to me in all the episodes, and we had a great time with those. So head on over, see what we've been doing. It's a lot of great stuff up there. Another thing I want to mention is we are actually streaming live on wearegreenbay.com right now. We haven't done that yet before, but we are streaming live on our website. For people watching on the official WFRV website, you can go to our YouTube page if you want to comment and be a part of this show and talk with me. We have some guests coming in today. It's going to be a great time, so head over to youtube.com/WFRV Local 5 if you want to be a part of the conversation. We got the comments. I got my phone right here going, so I see all your comments coming in as they come in, so go ahead and let me know you're a part of the show. Today on tap, we have Bayport High School. They have a whole gaming club. We're going to get into that. They have junior varsity. They got varsity. It's an excellent segment. We'll get that, the showcase of the week. I have a guest co-host coming in for the second half of the show to talk pop culture. Really excited to introduce who that is. We'll keep that as a little bit of a surprise for you. I want to say that we're going to talk about some multiple farewells coming to the superhero universe. There's a lot to that, so we're going to go into that. We're going to talk about that for a little bit. And so to lead off the show, the big game of the week this week is going to be NHL 94. We're going vintage. So I'm bringing in my buddy with me here, Troy Frisk. Troy, how you doing, buddy? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Excited to have you on. Absolutely.
It's awesome to be here.
So Troy, your first time on the show. We talked a little bit last week over the phone about you getting you involved. Tell me about what you have brewing in a couple days.
Couple days, I can't believe it already. Well, a couple weeks ago, you guys had Nate from the Thunder Bowl here.
Yeah, Nate Smithson. Nate was a monster. He was so cool to have on.
So we do a little bit of Tecmo, but it's sort of the warm-up to our big event, which is the NHL 94, which we'll be playing in a little bit. Tournament is called Barry Melrose Place, a play on Barry Melrose, who was a coach for the Kings.
Okay.
You know him from NHL Tonight, ESPN, and then the show Melrose Place. So it's kind of a mashup of those two.
All right.
Those two names, and we're doing 2 tournaments. One for the Sega Genesis, one that concludes. We'll do one for the Super Nintendo.
And what games are you playing in those tournaments?
The NHL 94.
NHL for both of them, for the Sega and then...
Correct.
Wow, it's like, oh, we actually have a screen up right now. This is what that old vintage game looks like, and I am really excited to dive into it. Now, Troy, when this game came out, I was a tiny young kid. I wasn't as young as I'm trying to make it out to be, but I was a young kid. So I don't have a lot of background on this game, and you are going to run me through the ropes, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah? Do you feel pretty confident you can teach this guy new tricks?
Well, we'll see what we got.
Yeah.
How long's the show?
We'll see. We'll see. We're going to go a little bit under an hour today, I think. Usually about an hour, but I think today we're going to try to keep it closer to 45. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So, Troy, we're going to talk a little bit about the game, but tell us a little bit about your backstory. You know, you run the NHL 94 tournament. We got that on the screen right there. And we're going to talk a lot about that today. But what else? I mean, some interesting thing. Edge VR, tell me about that. What's that about?
Edge VR Arcade is the venue that we're hosting this at. So the genesis of our, pun intended, of our tournament was we were doing some Tecmo, and we realized that someone in town was already kind of doing that on a larger scale,
Okay.
which was Nate with his Tundra Bowl.
Yeah.
And so another game that was suggested that I'd also grown up with was NHL 94. And we started running tournaments for that annually, and it's really starting to take off for us.
And Edge VR was a big part of you getting into all that.
Correct. The first year we held it there, having that more than just nothing wrong with the local sports bar. We always good to support the local business. Edge VR is a local business as well, but it was something unique to our area. And when we brought that into their venue, we started seeing a lot wider interest from places like Illinois, Detroit, Missouri, Ohio.
So this is a national tournament. You
Yes,
got a lot of people coming. I mean, this is wild. So we're going to talk more about that tournament within the next, I guess, 15 minutes or so. We're gonna do some gaming. I also there was one more. If I could throw that full screen back up, that original one. There was one more point on there. Oh no, I remember now. Your nickname was the Trojan.
Correct.
What's that about? We got to know what that's about. We were talking about a pre-show. What is that about?
Well, my name is Troy.
Okay.
If you're from Troy, you're a Trojan. Both my parents are graduates of Southwest High School.
Are you okay? So you're from Troy. So are you named Troy after the town?
I'm named Troy after where they went to school.
After where they went to school. That's cool. They met there?
Yep.
That's a sweet story. That's romantic. And we just got out of Valentine's Day. That's wonderful.
And still married.
That's wonderful. Look at that. See, we didn't even plan that. I didn't know. This is unscripted. I had no idea. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the game. Let's get into it. I'm ready to play. We got comments coming in. We got Shayboy234 saying, tell Justin I said hi. Oh, that might be a little bit of a preview to who our guest co-host is in the second half of the show. Tell Justin I said hi. We got DPS. DPS, what's your name, buddy? I can see your username, but I want to see who you are.
His name is Daniel Patrick Slattery.
That's Slattery. That's an awesome last name.
Yeah. So DPS, kind of a gaming term.
I like that.
Just shorten it up.
All right. Says, what's up, Josh? You're awesome. I'm excited to see you, Troy. Thank you very much. You're awesome, too, for watching. We appreciate you. Thanks a lot, Daniel. All right, man. Let's get into the game. Show me what this is all about.
We are in the second period. We're doing a divisional rival. We're going to give you the Chicago Blackhawks, who are arguably the best team in the game, if not a top 3 team.
Okay.
And I'm using the St. Louis Blues, who have some talent. But
what did I do? Is that okay?
We're good. So B is going to try to swing at the puck here when they drop it on the ice.
Okay.
You're the team in the red. That's the Blackhawks. We are in St. Louis. If you hear the organ music.
Oh, and so I'm red. Oh, I got the puck.
You got a breakaway.
Am I going the right way?
Oh, so nice breakaway attempt. Unfortunately, couldn't put it past Curtis Joseph.
Is that who that was?
Yes.
So why NHL 94? I mean, there's so many games out there. There's so many things going on. You know, there's so many. I mean, this show, especially when we first talked about, when Aman and I first introduced the whole idea, we talked about doing this show. We're going to do cutting edge games. You know, we're talking about Apex. We're talking about Fallout. We're talking about Halo.
Here we are.
we didn't really expect when we put the show together.
And there's a goal.
Playing this vintage game. You just scored on me.
Yes, that was the one time.
This is what I get.
Answer your question.
If Aman's watching, he's going to laugh at me for if you're a regular viewer of the show, he always clowns on me for not being able to multitask. So, what were you going to say?
So, much like Tecmo's Super Bowl, just to relate to that, it was the first time the NHL took the Players Association and the league and merged it into one game. So you get to play as your pixelated heroes. As well as on your favorite team names. It wasn't just the team from Chicago, it was actually the Blackhawks.
And so, like you just said, this is the first one to do that.
Correct.
You're right. I'm glad that you brought that up, because that was a really big point of the show 2-3 weeks ago when we had Nate in, was to talk about, you know, why he picked Tecmo Super Bowl as the game they do tournaments for, because it has such a history within. Now, I did some research. I try to know what I'm doing before I get into an episode. And some people say, okay, now this is a pretty bold claim, but I have read online, some people saying this is one of, if not the best sports game on video game of all time. Have you heard that?
I have. You know, so what's your national pastime? Usually they'll tell you what. So if you're in Canada, they're going to say it's the best of all time because hockey is what they play.
Got it.
With football, in the United States, unless you're in a hockey town, you're probably going to hear it the other way.
Okay.
If I had to take one game to the grave, it would probably be this one. Although I am better at Tecmo.
Are you?
Yeah.
So you better, you know, and I want to show something. If we can get the camera on his fingers, I think we have a shot of that. I noticed Nate doing this. We talked about this after when Nate was here in the show. You guys play with, you already have 3 on me. You guys play with your fingers. Show the camera again. How do you do that?
Well, so I have my middle finger on the center button and my ring finger on the outside button.
Okay.
And for this particular game, it just gives me a little more control independently. Mm-hmm. There's the 4th goal.
Well, that's what I'm trying to host a show and
at the same time,
this is not conducive. It's
well,
not
you know,
good.
the whole game with the pro. This is fitting now. At least I have a lead, so I can talk a little bit more about it now.
That's true. That's a good point. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make you look good, making sure we're representing that
go.
angle. For people watching on wearegreenbay.com over at our official WFRV website, if you head over to our YouTube page, you can actually stay involved with the conversation. We talked about it a little bit before, but we have a chat room open on our YouTube page. So, how many players are gaming in the tournament? How many people are involved?
So we're going to have somewhere between, if you count a player twice between the 2 days, because some people are playing in both games and some are just coming from one or the other. We'll have somewhere around 60 participants between the 2 days.
Okay.
So right now we're about high 20s for Tecmo and low 30s for 94. And we always get a few late signups the days leading up. So we're seeing some of those people start to confirm and say, no, I can't make it, or yeah, I can make it. But currently...
But it's growing.
Yes, absolutely.
That's exciting.
So, especially the Friday night before. Last year we only had, I want to say maybe 14. And now we're going to high 20s. So essentially doubled our pregame. No, didn't go in.
Here's the deal. We're in the second period here. I'm getting beat 4-0. I brought in a recruit. I don't know if you knew this or not, but I brought in somebody, because I had a feeling this would happen. I brought in a friend of mine, a friend of the Local 5 family here, our own Levi Lacrosse. Now, Levi, you're going to keep your controller, Troy.
Oh, okay.
I'm getting
Levi,
Blackhawks
you're going to take my controller.
I have the jersey.
And you're going to make me look respectable. This is like Three's Company here. Watch
Should we
out.
restart it from the start to give him an even score here?
Oh, no, it ain't gonna make a difference.
Okay.
So Levi, let's
played before.
I'm excited about it. So I tagged in Levi. I told WWE. I brought in a tag team partner, brought him in, because I had a feeling, I had a premonition that this might happen, because Troy's a baller. I mean, you run a tournament. There's no way I was going to really hold on to it. So I brought in Levi here. Levi is one of our key directors here at Local 5. Does a bunch of the shows for us. And actually, Levi is the reason we have some of these cool guests in, like Troy and like Nate a couple weeks ago. He's really big into this. So Levi, are you ready to...
I hope I can score at least once for you.
Yeah.
He does have the better jersey, I think.
No pressure. Let's get into this game.
It says Grizzle on the back.
I'm going to turn into
Classic.
interviewer as you guys are playing.
Oh, I guess the game is live here. I'll turn it over for you.
Come on, Levi. What do you got for me, buddy? So I'm excited about this. So Levi, when I had him on the show, we were talking before the show, he goes, all right, Josh, I got your back. I'm going to come in here. We'll take care of it. But I might get beat by Troy because Troy is just that good. So you compete in all these tournaments, Levi?
I've played a few of them. Like Troy said, you know, when the Tecmo scene in the area, you know, we wanted to find something else that everyone loved to do. And this was a great idea. He talked to me about it, and we all got together and decided this is great. And like many of these, you know, even if you don't know anybody, you show up because you love the game, and you make some new friends along the way, and that's really what it's really about at the end of the day.
It's really cool that we have something like this in our local community. I mean, there's so many things like that we don't know about. I mean, that's the great thing about this show, is to highlight some of that stuff going on here. I mean, you're pretty deeply in. Have you ever won one of these tournaments?
I have won one of his Tecmo tournaments.
Have you?
Most recent one, in fact.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a goal!
Ooh, okay, see? Look at that. How many of the, we're going to test you. How many of these NHL players do you know in the game?
There's a few of them. I look back at history. I'm not a huge hockey fan, but I do keep track of it every now and then when I can tune in.
Okay.
But yeah, a lot of these are, you know, if you're from the area, you're going to recognize a good portion of these players. You know, you have Wayne Gretzky, you have Ray Bourque, you have Brett Hull, Jaromir Jagr. Like, there's all these guys that, some of them even still play hockey to this day. Like, Jagr is like in his 40s and he's still kicking it pretty good, so.
He was the last remaining player of any 16-bit hockey game to still be out there. I think he's now no longer with the pros, but he might be playing overseas. That's Steve Larmer, by the way, if you want to test my
Well, I want to ask about this, Troy and Levi. Both of you can, because actually when we did the show a couple weeks ago with Nate, we used Levi's console. I want to talk about these consoles for a quick second, if we can. We're playing on a Sega, but I mean, this isn't an official Sega, because we're taking these old school games, and the original Sega, the original NES, the original Super Nintendo, they don't have HDMI outputs.
Correct.
So how are we able to do this and put it on our production studio from here? What do they have?
Well, this is a special one, and just to clarify, during our tournament, we don't do anything over HDMI. Everything is done on CRTs.
It's original, okay.
So we go, if we use a console like this, we only use the analog output. So it's that same yellow cable that you would use, a composite cable.
Sure.
Really brings that nostalgia feel back. But then there's also it's called input lag. You know, gamers that you might have heard that coming from the Smash community, they want to play on CRTs. Same thing for us. Tech mode also matters. It's not as bad in '94. There's still ways to score, but we just want to have a consistent experience from display to display. If you play on this TV, play on that TV, play on that TV, it's going to feel the same.
Okay. Well, I mean, the tournament's this weekend. You know, I think we got a poster of that tournament if we can throw that up in there. This is something you've been planning for a little bit. You have a lot of stuff going on in this tournament. There was talk, now I know with something going on in Amon's family, there was talk about Amon originally coming out. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. But you still have a lot going on in this tournament for this weekend. How do people get involved if they still want to? If they're watching this show, you know, even now live or in a couple days on our website, how do they join in? Friday or Saturday?
You can walk in the day of the event. 7 p.m. Is the Tecmo the night before on Friday at the Edge VR arcade. If you want to play NHL 94, the event starts at 10. We ask that people arrive at least 15 minutes early if they're not registered, so we can get them added to our list.
Okay.
It's helpful to us if they do register a couple days early.
Well, that's true.
Just in case, but the link is on there, tinyurl.com/2019 NHL 94. And that'll end up giving them a form they can fill out the information.
Levi, are you going to be there?
Absolutely.
Are you going to be, yeah?
I'm going to be at a Tecmo tournament. Unfortunately, I have to work almost all day on Saturday.
You have to work?
What's that about, guys?
Work on Saturday. Right. Where is this place that you work at that makes you do this on a Saturday?
Okay. A lot of exterior events, though.
That's great. That's great. So you're going to be out there on Friday. You're going to be competing. So if people want to come out and meet
fastest thumb at the tournament right here.
Responsible for a lot of these awesome segments, that's where he's going to be. You want to see what he's doing.
It's a fun time.
But as we get ready to wrap this up, I want to talk about really quick what we can about what people are able to win. We have a table over to my left here of some of the merch in the show, or so in the tournament that we can win. Tell me about some of these things here.
So first off, there's over just a total value over $1,000 worth of cash and prizes that are on the line.
Okay,
for the entire
you got my
weekend.
attention.
So what we see on the left is a signed Bill Romanowski jersey that was donated by Player 2 Arcade Bar in Appleton. You don't have to win the tournament to win that jersey. You just have to be a paid participant Friday night to have a chance at that. Okay. And then that's just a signed copy 94 from our last tournament, but that is Lord Manley's Cup behind it.
Lord Manley, what was it one more time?
Lord Manley's Cup.
There's got to be a story there. I know we're signing off, but I really want to hear what the story is to the name of it. Is it appropriate for?
Yeah.
Okay.
So obviously the real trophy that gets is Lord Stanley's Cup, and so we wanted to have our own version of it.
Okay.
It's machined with high tech methods at the bottom, but the top is a welded kitchen bowl. So we blended them. We gave it that nice trailer park feel.
You can't make it up.
Yeah.
that is awesome.
And so there's actually miniature versions that the winners of both the Super Nintendo and the Genesis tournaments will take home with them. The large one won't make it through Tuesday.
Do you guys have participation trophies? I want one of those just for the sake of having it. That's
Arda Ocal came from MSG Networks last year. He actually did the announcing for the NHL 19 World Championships. We gave him a best announcer. He came and announced the whole thing for us last year, and he actually got one. So if you get caught up on your rosters and want to do hockey announcing, maybe we'll get you a best announcer.
I like it.
Yeah.
You heard it here. You heard it here. I'm gonna take him to it one of these days. All right. Thank you guys. We got some really cool stuff coming up in a second here, so you guys don't want to miss this. Coming up right now, we have this awesome package. Our own Bobby Sherman went out and he shot this great story over at Bayport High School. Do you guys know about what they're doing at Bayport High School? Have you heard about this?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. What have you heard?
Well, they're getting involved in just the gaming industry. I mean, it's like Amon said in past shows. It's part of the culture now, and people are, there's money to be involved, and you can make a career out of it. I mean, it's a big deal.
You have kids, and I don't want to, if it's too personal, feel free to stay. This is non-scripted, but would you be Comfortable with your? You have a son, you have a daughter,
Yeah,
right?
9-year-old son and a 5-year-old daughter. So.
Does your son play video games? Would he ever get into a school tournament like that?
I think if he's that interested in it, yeah, I support him. Yeah, I mean that's something I grew up with, and it's every kid's dream to want. Like, I want to play games and make a living off of it, And it wasn't as easy back in the day, but now there's so many different platforms and opportunities. It's possible.
What's his favorite game?
He still sticks with some Mario Maker.
Look at that. You got all these kids. I know one of our own, Luke Sampe, said his son is just in love with Fortnite, but your son's favorite 9-year-old son it's not Fortnite.
Super Mario Maker, he makes his own levels. I mean, he creates everything. It's just
that's great.
It's all there.
That's
How's his
great.
technical game, though? How's his 94 game?
It needs some work, but he's
My son's playing in the tournament.
Is he?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, my oldest, yeah.
I want to check that out. I may be there this weekend. We're not quite sure yet. I really want to see the show. It'd be great. Good luck at the tournament. Check out the package, the story. I shouldn't say package. You guys don't know what that means. Check out the story at Bayport High School Gaming Club. This is incredible. You're really going to want to watch this. Here it comes.
Yeah, I fell back a bit.
I started the club not because I am a huge gamer, but because all of these students didn't have a niche.
You're fine to be aggressive. You're fine to be aggressive.
Watch out, Diva bomb.
Even if you're not super into esports, if you're into gaming, this is a place where you can go spend time with friends. But if you want to be on the JV or the varsity, you need to have a lot of dedication. If you're not good immediately, that's perfectly fine. We'll probably put you on the JV. And as long as you show up to every practice and you're training hard, making sure that you're improving consistently, you get to stay on.
I applied for a grant, the Howard Swamical Education Foundation, and they came through with a $10,000 grant that really accelerated our growth. And without their super generous financial commitment with the grant, we would not be in this place that we were at.
Why did I do that? It's fun. It's a nice social setting. You can be competitive. You can meet new people. There's a bunch of... Everyone here is nice. It's pretty much just like this every day. Everyone practices good sportsmanship here.
So right now, today, we'll be doing a varsity smash practice, as well as actually playing against another team for competition. And then the Overwatch team will be doing their JV competition.
The goal is really in a year or 2 years to basically have an esports team at every FRCC school and every school in Green Bay, because there are students at every school that want to do this.
That was excellent. And it's the development of the gaming industry is just coming so far. I mean, I played football and rugby back in high school and college, and now you got people who can play gaming. I mean, that's incredible. Before we go too far into that, I want to introduce somebody who I'm very excited about having on the show tonight. When we found out that Amon couldn't be here tonight, we were shocked. We felt horrible for his family, the things that he was going through. It was really hard for us to comprehend, and we really had a serious talk about maybe not doing the show tonight. But then Justin here and I started talking, and Justin's like, you know what, buddy? I'm game. I'll hop on the show. So Justin, who are you? What's your story?
I'm a producer here, Local 5, originally from Milwaukee. Went to school at University of Wisconsin, Oshkosh. Kind of a weird sports fan, as you can see. I got the Tar Heels sweatshirt. We'll get into that in a little bit.
Check this out, wait. 49ers, Nuggets, Brewers, Tar Heels, Badgers. What is this?
And
looks like you just took a bunch of random teams, threw it in a shuffle, and picked them out of a hat.
They all have stories to them. Biggest one, Niners, looked up to my older cousin, and Nuggets, when I started watching the NBA, my brother gave me a Carmelo Anthony rookie jersey.
Okay.
So also a big horror buff movie. I as you can see, I own a ton.
So we're gonna talk a little bit about that today.
Right. And favorite genre, horror. So.
Okay. Well, I gotta tell everybody out there, not only is Justin the Local 5 producer, he's a producer for this show.
Yep.
So Justin's the guy
it's weird being on this side of the ear.
Have you ever worn an earpiece before?
No.
This is the first time.
Yeah. When we did a check, I was like, wow.
This is what it feels like.
Yeah, right.
So Justin talks in our ear when we're doing this show live, and I'm expected to continue to talk to you as he's talking to me here saying, Josh, hurry up, get to the next segment. This
so
is
sometimes
boring.
if you ever see him pausing, That's why.
I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what he's talking about. And so one thing I want to quick add here, a big reason we wanted to bring Justin in this spot is our newsroom at Local 5, it's a family environment. You know, we love each other, we fight, we do everything. It's a family. You know, it really is a true family here at WFRV. And in these communal conversations we have pretty often, I always hear from my desk, out of the corner of my ear, Justin going deep on conversations about sports or movies or, you know, whatever, music, everything that's going on in pop culture. This guy knows it. I'm like, Justin, you gotta be here, you know, and if we couldn't have him on, I'm super excited to have Justin here to kind of, you know, shed some light into that. So let's go into movies. Let's get into some of the stuff, the bread and butter of what he knows about. We're gonna test him out here, everybody. Comment in our YouTube comments right here. We already got Jackie Lang. Jackie, one of our producers, coming in. She said she goes, the newsroom is popping.
Yeah, it is. It is.
That's something that he says for some reason in the newsroom when we're creating news. All right, so
it's not always popping.
Let's get into movies. So what do we got? Top 5 box office. Let's get into that.
Okay, so we had Alita: Battle Angel. Right before I came in here, actually, we wrote on our scripts that Lego Movie 2 was #1. Alita just surpassed that.
Have you seen it yet?
I have not. I do. It's top on my list.
That's awesome. But Alita Battle
Mitch
Angel
says it's good. It's good. He gives
our
an endorsement.
Mitch was the guy who was here last week. He did our showcase on Kingdom Hearts 3. You know, he's talking our ear now. He's the one talking to us this time, not Justin. so yes, we talked about Alita last week. I think that gaming culture, if you want to know what the top movies are going to be next week, you should probably watch this show because we seem to pick what movie is going to lead the box office the following week. I think we got the golden touch.
And you see what's at 5.
What's at number 5?
Happy Death Day 2.
Talk about it. You saw it.
Yeah, I saw it this weekend. Here's the trailer a little bit. So me and my friend both had the same thoughts about it. You know, we were going into it expecting it to be kind of like the original, follow the same suit. That's kind of how horror works these days. Once you hit on one, you follow the same suit. However, I will say this is the rare occasion where the sequel surpasses the original.
Okay.
They added, they explained the story. If you're left #1, like, why does she keep waking up? Why is this? Well, they explain what's going on.
With the people who haven't seen #1, what is Happy Death Day?
Happy Death Day, basically the #1 is, it's her birthday. She's one of them typical sorority college girls that in the beginning of the movie you might not totally like, but by the end of it wins the hearts of everyone. But she dies over and over again. She keeps waking up, getting killed by this killer with the baby mask on.
But every time she dies, she
wakes up.
She wakes up.
And she couldn't figure it out. And in this one, they added dimensions to the movie. No pun intended, kind of a little spoiler, but they added dimensions. So
added dimensions
it explains,
to the movie.
So it wraps up well. And you know, with one of those horror genres, if they could keep on making them if they want, but I believe the end of this one should be the end of the series.
You think so?
I believe so.
I want to watch this. I like this. I watched this with my wife last year. We loved the first one. It's not just a horror movie. It's kind of a comedy at the same time. It's kind of funny. It's goofy. So I'm excited to see it. You said this is a good one?
Yeah, I give it endorsement. I've seen 2 movies this year so far in the theaters, and it surpassed Escape Room.
Well, okay. All right. Well, there's another movie that's coming out soon that maybe is not as known by the common public in this dynamic. So everybody knows, they've heard of Pokemon, they've collected the cards, they've played the Pokemon Go. My wife is very familiar with Pokemon Go. But there's a new movie coming out, Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
It's so random. It feels random, but in doing some research, it's not. This is actually takes off of it comes from an original game here. So I think I have the note here. It goes from Detective Pikachu is based off the Nintendo 3DS title of the same name. Right here, folks. You heard it here. So this trailer that came out, actually today, I believe, today or yesterday, and it was a new look at some of the new characters that might be in it. It looks fun. At first, when I saw it, I was a little bit, I didn't know how I felt because Detective isn't how I see Pikachu. Where do you stand at this?
Here's my thing.
Here we go. He's warming up.
I don't know if the story's gonna be excellent. I don't know how the game was. I didn't play it. But I will say this, I started watching Pokemon, or playing Pokemon when I was about 10 years old.
Okay.
And watching it too, the TV show. And I'm just excited after all these years. We get live action.
Well, that's
that live action Pikachu, top it with a Ryan Reynolds voice actor.
Ryan Reynolds is amazing. There's so many live action movies coming this way nowadays. Now there's a trailer I saw today, a new trailer by HBO. So this is something, I'm actually wearing, if you saw my shirt, I'm wearing a Michael Jackson shirt. Now this is something that's not so much on the light side. This is a pretty heavy documentary. This is a 2-part series coming out on HBO called Leaving Neverland. And it actually follows it's a difficult subject, but that's why I want to talk about it today. Basically, it goes into some of the allegations against Michael and 2 people coming forward that maybe did at one point say he was innocent, but now maybe changing their story. The official synopsis of the documentary goes, the 2-part documentary explores the separate but parallel lives and experiences of 2 young boys, James Safechuck, age 10, and Wade Robson, age 7, both who were befriended by Michael Jackson. This is something that was at the Sundance Awards, the Sundance Festival, that got a lot of traction, a lot of attention. A lot of people spoke out against it. I do want to see it. I'm a lifelong just major Michael Jackson fan. I mean, I got into music. For people who didn't see the first couple episodes, I worked in the entertainment industry for many years, traveled the world working in music, writing songs for many different artists, and that all started from growing up watching Michael Jackson. And I do want to watch this. I'm a little bit nervous to watch this. I've always been kind of indifferent to how I felt about these things, but it looks like something that looks curious. Now, one thing I do want to see on this is Wade Robson, who's here. I've known about Wade for a long, long time. Wade's actually famous to a lot of people outside of here. Wade directed music videos and world tours for NSYNC, for Britney Spears. You know, he was a dancer. He was on one of the dance competition shows. He was a judge there. You know, he was in Black or White. He was in Jam. He was in Heal the World. He's in a lot of different things with Michael, and I'm really curious to know how this goes, but Wade was always a big defender of Michael, and now it looks like he might be changing his tune.
The one thing we were talking about really quick before we move along is we were talking about how, like, for me, I was probably about the same age of these kids back then.
Okay.
And so I wasn't really in tune with the story. I was kind of hearing some stuff, but now for these guys to come out around my age, a little older, and tell their story is just...
It's gonna be a powerful documentary. Again, it got a lot of traction on there. There's no good transition into our next topic, but I did want to bring that up today before we get to it because it's a really big thing that a lot of people are talking about. But what we want to talk about now, we want to switch gears to, is what this guy has on his sweatshirt. Well, soon. We're gonna start. Let's start with there's a game right now, right?
Yeah, there is a game right now, but we'll get into a little Bucks first because they actually do play tomorrow, fresh off the All-Star break. I'm a big NBA fan, as a lot of people know around here, a big Nuggets fan. But yeah, as you can see, they're playing Boston tomorrow on TNT. Should be a big one. Bucks are still first, a game ahead in the East going it. And I can say this to be a Nuggets fan and unbiasedly, that I've been saying this all year. Coach Mike Budenholzer has been the NBA addition this year. The best NBA addition.
You think
he
so?
has them boys playing, passing around.
Well, and he was the coach for the All-Star game as well for Team Giannis. I mean, everything Bucks is going big this year. I mean, if you watch the All-Star game, even though Chris Middleton didn't do so great in the three-point contest, he owned it in the actual game, the All-Star game. He went in, when they brought him off the bench, he just three-point, and just kept sinking them. Giannis went in, was getting dunks, alley-oops. He was pulling stuff from Steph Curry. It was an awesome game, but I'm excited to get back to Bucks ball for the All-Star break to break.
Yeah, and I know you haven't been to the Pfizer yet, but I've been there twice this year, and I could say Milwaukee basketball's back.
Is it?
That city is once again. They got the Brewers and Bucks. They got a good year coming.
Well, there's a lot going on at home, but you got some loyalties here that we got to talk about, but actually is worthy of talking about in the show because there's some big things happening.
Yeah, I mean, the Tar Heels-Duke game, big game, one of the biggest rivalry games in college basketball, set to tip off, I believe, in about 5 minutes. Usually tips off about 8:08, 8:10.
Okay.
It's going to be a huge game. There's going to be 6 of the top 25 NBA prospects in this game.
In that one game alone?
In this one game alone for next year.
That's crazy.
You got Cam Johnson, you got Little, you got...
well, we got some of them on the... You got the, I guess...
You got Zion, of course. You got Kobe White. You got R.J. Barrett. So there is some definite potential. But what is even crazier
This is insane.
is what I told you when I came in is that ticket prices for this event are reaching Super Bowl level.
For one game.
For this one game.
NC versus Duke.
They still play at North Carolina in this year, but this one game, the average price is, I believe it was $4,000 and $3,000 just to get in the building.
There it is right there.
There it is, just to get in the building. It's the Zion Williamson hype. He's supposed to be the next LeBron. Everyone wants to see him. And it's just insane. For one college basketball game, not even tournament, not even ACC tournament, nothing huge on the line.
I can't get tickets to the Bucks game. Every time I try to go to the Bucks game, they're sold out. But this got $3,000 just to get in the building.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness, man.
It's going to be a big game, so if you want to watch it, you can head over to ESPN, but there's a lot of hype around
that. Hang out with us here for another
right.
15, 20 minutes.
It doesn't tip off yet.
Well, there's a lot going on in sports. There's got to be covered that. But the world of trending topics has been loud this week. You know, we were talking about trending topics, talking about what we wanted to get into. There was so much hitting that it was a really hard time to narrow it down.
Yeah, you sent that whole email list. I was like, how do I pick?
All these things.
Can we just go a couple more hours or what?
So we basically broke it down into two themes. What's the first one? What happened? What's going on?
There's a lot of farewells. Farewells around, a lot of superheroes / icons, if you may.
Who scored? Did you score?
Shaking things up. I believe I did. No look shot. Anyway, so Netflix has decided to cancel Jessica Jones and the Punisher, making it the last MCU television show on Netflix as they transition into Disney. They already canceled Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Daredevil, and Defenders. These were the last dominoes.
So Netflix is getting rid of all Marvel miniseries, basically, you know, between those different ones. Why?
It's also the same, what goes on with the X-Men.
Okay.
It's a little bit more edgier. It's a little bit more PG-13. Punisher isn't for everyone. It's bloody. It's gory. You could see his face right there all battered up. So I believe, I can't confirm this, but as they transition to Disney, they want more PG. They might want to reboot, bring in different characters.
Not something so edgy, not something so aggressive, you know, something where you can really appeal to a wider audience and something. I got a 3-month-old. That sounds good to me. They don't need to see Jessica Jones. You know, they want to see Elsa. I don't know.
And Netflix, if you're listening, just know that bring back season 4 of Daredevil. That's all I'm asking.
That's what you're asking for? That's your favorite one, wasn't it?
Daredevil season 3 was the best Netflix original series.
But it's gone now. Did it at least close in a good way? Oh, wait, we got Jackie talking about Iron Fist. She talked about Pikachu, too.
What did she guys say?
Detective Pikachu is going to be amazing. Pumped. She also goes, Iron Fist was not good.
It wasn't really good.
There's too much Marvel in the world, so it kind of needed to happen. That's actually great perspective. That's great perspective.
It is.
Some people do think there's too much Marvel, too many movies, too many shows, too many offshoots. You know, is there a silver lining to this going away?
Well, I will say Iron Fist is not really known as much as a Punisher, as much as a Daredevil, even Jessica Jones. I will say this, Jackie, in terms of Iron Fist, I believe the buildup was a bit too slow. They didn't get his mask going until after the Defenders in season 2. They really built up his backstory too slow, and the acting wasn't quite there as a Daredevil.
Look how specific this guy is. I told you he knows movies, or movies and shows, pop culture. All right, we're going to pop through a couple quick topics here. So we're hearing that Jared Leto is out for the Joker. His movie has been put on hold. They're talking about doing a soft reboot for Suicide Squad 2, and there's no Joker or Harley Quinn. How do you feel about that?
And you know, I said I love me some Margot Robbie, so it's going to be hard not to see Harley Quinn. That's true.
So Harley Quinn's out for the Suicide Squad 2. Jared Leto's out for Suicide Squad 2.
I do agree with Jared Leto. His Joker just didn't do it for me, and they're coming out with another standalone Joker this year, so it really doesn't make sense to have 2 in the DCU universe. So I was kind of questioning that to begin with, and I would like to see a fresh take of this new Joker movie. He had his chance.
I like that. That's a great take. I'm really excited about Joaquin Phoenix because everything he puts his heart into, he just owns it. I mean, everything he does, he really takes onto that character. So it'll be cool to see what he makes with the new Joker and giving Joker the time to breathe before they reinvent another character, another actor into it. Gwyneth Paltrow has said she is leaving the Marvel Universe as well. She's talking about, wait, we're gonna multitask. We might have to get Troy in here to help us get started. Troy, come running in here as we talk about Gwyneth Paltrow. Get us into a new game. How do we do? See, Troy's the man.
Oh, dear Lord.
Oh.
Okay, so we're losing Pepper Potts.
We're losing Pepper Potts. She said she's out of the Marvel universe, that Endgame will be her final episode or final movie in the Marvel universe, but she still wants to be involved in the Marvel universe, so if they ever call her up to do a flashback or a cameo, she says she's willing to do it, but she's ready to kind of see that ship sail. So
could be a prelude to
out.
Robert Downey.
Whoa! What happens to him in Endgame? Thank you, Troy.
Thank you.
Look at that. Troy's the man. You got to set up with another game. Thank you, Troy.
You're welcome.
Applause, applause. This is a live show, folks. And on that note, being live, everybody watching it on the wearegreenbay.com website, the WFRV official website, you can actually join us in a live chat over at our our YouTube page. So if you scroll over from the website, on the top right, you'll see WFRV Digital Studios. Scroll down, click YouTube, and you can comment and join in the conversation with us right on our phone. We'll try to get to your comments as they come in live. So as we get into all these things, there's a lot going on in the gaming universe. This is a gaming show. We're playing games in the background. There's a big update coming in with Capcom and Resident Evil 2. That's your game. You love Resident Evil.
I'm a huge Resident Evil series fan. It's up there with other ones such as Mortal Kombat for me, but Resident Evil 2 is honestly one of the better games of the series. So I'm really excited for this reboot. Resident Evil 4 I was a big fan of. I have Biohazard, the new one, but to see this, you know, it was a PlayStation 1 game. Yeah. And granted, it was good, the gameplay was good, but if you play it back today, it just doesn't do it for me. So to see them remastering and bring it back to the fold is really exciting.
Okay. Well, you know, I'm not a big zombie guy, but I'm not a big zombie game player. It's not my style, which is weird because I love Fallout and there's ghouls in that. Anyway, that's a different conversation. But there is a game that Resident Evil 2 is going to collaborate with that we heard about just today that I do like. I'm a big fan of PUBG. What we're finding out, this just in, as they say, PlayerUnknown Battleground and Resident Evil 2 collaboration now live. So what's going on is they're actually doing, it's more PUBG Mobile, but it looks like they're going to collaborate between the two universes. You can do it's called Night Mode, I believe they're calling it. It's officially called Nightfall is Coming. It's surrounded by horror and evil. Unite and fight is our only hope. I like PUBG on the mobile. I played on the Xbox, but playing on mobile is a lot of fun. You have a lot more control, and I win a lot more on mobile. I think there's just not as many good players there. So
I think you'll start to see a trend here of crossover games. You saw it with Fortnite doing it with different NFL skins and you know Thanos.
Yeah, when we did Fortnite in the first episode, we saw Amon playing himself as himself. He was wearing his jersey as he was playing Fortnite in the first episode. You can see that episode if you go to wearegreenbay.com/gamingculture. You can watch Amon play himself in Fortnite, which is pretty cool. But you're right, there's a lot of crossovers hitting. Marshmello did a live DJ thing. We talked about that a couple weeks ago on Fortnite.
Final Fantasy and Monster Hunter, as Mitch said, so.
Final Fantasy and Monster, those are also combining.
Yeah, collabs, so.
So many collaborations, so many collaborations.
They announced it at E3 this year, so.
E3 is where it's at. Yeah. That's where all the big things happen. That's where the big things happen. But speaking of Fortnite for a quick second, we did talk about this in a previous shoot. Oh, look at him. Look at him score on me. He goes, Josh, you talk so I can score on you.
Yeah, you introduce the next.
So we're here. This is finally, we're not going to talk about this too long. It's Fortnite, and everybody knows about Fortnite or cares about it probably already knows this. But there was talk a couple months ago, I think in December, that they were going to introduce this new drift board to Fortnite, and they finally have introduced it only 2 or 3 months late. When we did our first episode of Game and Culture back in early January, I believe, Amon and I were hoping this drift board would be accessible so we could showcase a little bit because it was such a big topic. But it looks like they finally released it. So that's exciting for a lot of people who are big into that. Next topic. I don't know. Fortnite. Fortnite's cool. I love it, but it's good to mention and then find another topic to follow it with.
I'm not the biggest fan, but
no. PUBG's where it's at for Battle Royale, at least in my opinion. Well, actually, right now though, it's a different one. We're going to finish off the show with the other one in a little bit, so we'll talk about that soon. But there was a rare edition. This is pretty wild. We saw this online this morning. A rare edition of the Super Mario Brothers. Tell us what happened with this.
So a guy, as you could see in the case, mint condition, sold record-breaking game for over 100,000. At first I read this headline, I thought it was a little bit misleading. I thought it said 100 or 150. And then I got in the article, I was like, oh, it's over 100,000.
So one game. The one game in mint condition, graded, sold for $100,150. That is wild.
And you saw my videos today, all my old school games and totes. I'm sitting here like, man, I should have kept a couple in the package.
He's like, hold on, wait a minute. Can I sell some of these?
Yeah.
what are they valued at? That's funny. So yeah, that was a pretty cool thing we found out. Over in Tokyo, there's an interesting story. There's a new game, Jump Force, but they promoted it in a very unique way. Over in Tokyo, in the subway station, they blasted holes in the wall. Now, I don't think these are real holes, more of an art installation. But they went and put holes in basically preview for a new game called Jump Force, and that's with Dragon Ball, Goku, One Piece, Naruto, all of those and those. That's a yeah. You can talk about.
Love Dragon Ball Z.
So you know what these marks are behind us. You know what that's all about.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that. You know, it's like almost like a whole universe, kind of like the Marvel universe. It's the anime universe.
Sure.
For that, they got One Piece, like you said, Naruto, all that. I was a big Dragon Ball Z fan, but other than that, not
a big
too
thing.
keen on that.
Well, as we kind of get ready to shut down for the day here, I want to let everybody know a couple things. Next week we're going to be on hiatus. We're going to take a little bit of a break. We have 5 episodes in. This is Local 5, after all. We thought 5 was a great place to take a 1-week break, reflect on all the improvement, all the some of the stuff we still need to work on in the last bit of the show. So we're going to take a little bit of a rest next week. Come back to it the week after. When we come back to it, though, we're going to talk about Apex. We're going to come back with an Xbox. We're going to play Apex in this show. Everybody is talking about it. It's a new free game. It's taken over Fortnite. What's going on with Apex? What are people saying with it?
Apex right now is the #1, I believe. #1 in the world. I know my brother who commented earlier is starting to play it. He's big into it, but it's just really starting to take off. I haven't downloaded or played it myself personally yet, but the thing I like is I heard there's no building. And that was my kryptonite in Fortnite. There's no building, and I like its first-person shooter. I've always been a fan of that, Call of Duty style.
Yep, I agree with you. First person was my preference to play too. Yeah, it went in, it debuted. There was talk that it's an EA game, and EA sometimes has a little bit of a rough track record, what some people say. So there was talk that when they dropped, this is an EA game too, you can see in the bottom left of the corner, but when they dropped the game, they basically just released it to avoid any type of pre-hype that could hurt the game.
Yeah.
And it debuted last week, I think last week, a week before, for free, and became the #1 game across the world almost immediately, and has taken a lot of the energy away from Fortnite. So we'll see how that continues. But we're gonna play it. We're gonna find out what the hype is about in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, we're gonna do it right here, the same channel, same time. But as we get going, there was a couple things that you were talking to me about before we
You hit a big milestone in your life this past weekend. I was seeing on Facebook. Was it this week?
It was this last weekend. Yeah, last Saturday. Last Saturday.
And I even commented and said goals on it. So
life goals. I don't even know what the goal. Yeah.
So what was going on?
So last weekend was my daughter's 100 days. Now out here, there she is. Our pups in there. There's baby Ivory turning really 100 days. Now for people out here, like, what does that mean to be 100 days old? What's that all about? There's my parents there with their pups, their family. We had the balloons, we had the cake, we had all that stuff. Well, my wife is Korean, and in Korean culture, 100 days is a really big, monumental day to arrive at. Basically, throughout history, throughout culture, it was a day that a lot of kids maybe didn't make it to when they were back in early times of Korea. And when they made it to 100 days, it was kind of heard and assumed that they're going to make it and make it to a year. They're going to survive. It's kind of a really intense backstory to it. But that's not so much the case anymore, with modern technology, modern medicines. But the holiday still stands. The event still stands. So over the weekend, we had our 100 days. My wife was really excited, living in America for a bit, to still try to bring a little bit of home for her, Korea, too.
So how's fatherhood, first 100 days?
It's a lot of work. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare what you're going to get involved in if you decide to go down this
I tell him every day. I don't know how he does it. He's our digital manager here. He's got a brand new kid. He's playing games. He's keeping up to date.
There's
with
a
trendings.
lot. It's a lot. She's
So, I'll give
awesome
you
though,
props.
and it's really because my wife. She's just a rock star. We gotta. Our daughter's a little bit fussy, so that's tough. But she's cool. At least she's cute. She's got that going for her. So if she cries, there's that. But as we wrap up the show here, Justin, what do you think, buddy? What do you think about sitting in the chair?
I like it. I mean, it felt right.
What do you think about NHL 94? Oh my goodness,
I'm
this game's
finally starting to catch on. I was kind of trying to multitask earlier. I didn't notice for a while I was shooting in my own goal.
This happens every episode. This happens every episode. You don't realize it. Is as we're playing, by about this time in the episode when we're about to finish, this is when we get comfortable. This is when we figure out what we're doing.
Yeah, I finally got a grasp in the game, so we're 0-0 OT. But
let's finish by playing for about 2 more minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. Is that cool?
Okay.
We're gonna finish up by trying to see who can actually score a goal on this game. So this weekend, as everybody knows, is the big tournament. You can head over to our page. You can watch this episode after it airs, about an hour after it airs on WeAreGreenBay.com. It's going to be, a fun one to watch back. I'm really excited to watch it back. Here we go. Come on.
I'm truly trying to focus now.
You're blue, right? Let me just make sure I'm the right
C
side.
to shoot, B to pass.
B to do something, and C to do the other thing.
Okay.
What is that?
You're the one learning,
B
man.
plays. I know. Well, trying to host a show and learn a game, it's not very easy, folks.
No.
Brad, what do you think? Brad's our floor crew. Brad runs the camera. What do you think about NHL 94? Am I doing okay?
Oh, you do better than I am.
Brad's the man.
Who are you putting your money on right now?
Who's going to score that shot?
Betting man.
Okay, I respect that.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to do it. No, what? Where's the knuckle puck? Where's the flying V? Troy, how do I do the flying V?
We good.
Oh, it's because I tried to score on my own goal. That's what'll happen. No! Get out of there!
Oh my God, I'm getting robbed, folks.
Oh man. Oh, that's funny. Let's try to check out that tournament fly one last time before we head into the end of the show. So this is, if you want to get involved in the tournament this weekend, Troy Frisco's our special guest today, introducing NHL 94 to us. I think I may steal his counsel here so I can learn how to be good at it if I do want to go to this tournament this weekend. But if you want to get involved, you can see all the information there. It starts Friday at 7 p.m. over at Edge VR. It's going to be an excellent event. You got the Genesis there, you got the NES there, or SNES, all the old consoles. The vintage game is going to be a great tournament. Go check it out.
And you can get all the info on Facebook too, right?
Yep. You're going to get on Facebook, on our website. We're going to post all that right there after the show. WeAreGreenBay.com/gamingculture. Everything you can get is from the homepage, WeAreGreenBay.com. Slide over the digital studios tab, and you'll find the show.
See? I'm catching on now, but a little too late.
Oh, come on.
You got 2 minutes.
We have to score before this is over. That's what I'm aiming at. We have to sign off soon, but somebody's got to score. We can't end the game without anything. Come on.
Face off.
Oh, wait, what? I thought I was doing something. There we go.
Okay.
Let's go.
As we do this too, what do we got next when we come back?
Yep, so we're going to come back. We're going to do a face-off. We're going to do Apex. We also got a couple different package ideas, a couple different showcases that we're going to discuss, trying to get into. We're looking at talking to Edge VR, maybe. We want to talk to those guys over there. We want to talk to Player 2 Arcade. We really want to get involved in the community. And actually, everybody out there, there's Player 2 Arcade right on the screen there. That's Troy in the front. So Troy, our special guest today, our featured guest, he was the first. Troy, you were the first guest.
First ever public customer.
There it was. You heard it off mic. The first ever public customer.
What was the first arcade game you played?
Street Fighter 2.
Nice.
So would that make Street Fighter 2 the first ever game played at Player 2 Arcade? I think by laws of...
It's in the back, so it depends on who got there first.
That's fair. But let's say it. For the sake of our show, we're going to say that that's true. That was the first one ever played there. Let's go. Okay, come on, Justin. No.
Oh, sailed.
I got this. No, I don't. We got 1 minute left. There's 52 seconds. We're not going to finish 0-0. It's going to be like a real hockey game. It's going to be like a real hockey game. Yeah. Oh, watch out. Watch out. What?
Wow.
We're really going to finish 0-0. We're going to end the show with 0. 13 seconds. Can I get my guy out of the goalie just so Justin can score on me and have a point on the board? Oh!
Wow.
There we go. We both got zeros. We both got goose eggs.
I guess I gotta dust off my saga here.
That was fun, though. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with us on the 5th episode of Gaming Culture. It's been a great time. You know, as always, shoot us an email, leave us a comment, the Facebook page, Gaming Culture, on the website, whatever the case may be. Best wishes to Amon Green one more time and his family. We really miss having you here, buddy. You're our partner in crime. Hopefully, we did you well. Hopefully, you're proud of what we did in your absence. But we do miss you, and we're excited to have you back. Prayers to you and Marie and everything you guys are going through. Till next time, for Justin, for our co-host, our special guest, he did a knockout job. Thank you guys, everybody. I'm Josh Rose, episode 5 of Gaming Culture. We're going to see you in 2 weeks. Take care, everyone.